My name's Jeff Martin. I'm an artist. I live in Melbourne, Australia. I'm going to visit 12 of the world's best restaurants. So I'm going to go to those restaurants, spend one night there. I'm going to sketch the kitchens during service and try and make a painting based on that experience. With my time winding up in New York, the next restaurant to visit here is Momafuku, owned by David Chang, which is more approachable, more street food. So I'm going to have a look at street food, see what's happening in New York and what this street food culture is about. New York is famous for its food trucks. And you know, you get your ones that serve bad hot dogs and you get your ones that serve greasy this and greasy that. But there's a Prospect Park food truck rally in between Manhattan and Brooklyn bridges. What's incredible about these vans is the technology and the quality. They've got touchscreen systems. A lot of restaurants still haven't got that. And the quality of what they're putting out is just superb. And they care about it. They really, really care. This is lobster from Maine, $16. Yeah, it's pretty good. There's a lot of lobster in there. This is Momafuku Sayamba, which apparently means peach, owned by David Chang. This is very affordable food. You could eat here every day, and it's one of the world's best restaurants. It's not the smallest kitchen I've ever been into, but it's tidy, it's very tight. So the issue is going to be movement. And I'm really restricted to one area, and because it's an open kitchen, everybody from inside the dining room has already seen the view looking back at the kitchen. I want to do it from a slightly different angle and try and incorporate the view out to very slender, thin windows where I can get a New York cab. The last thing I want to do is jeopardise the way they operate. They do about 280 covers a night in there. As soon as they're in position, I'm going to do some sketches and get out. It's hard and fast. Everything has to happen at absolute pace. You have to get stuff out quickly, so you move the tables, get the next tables in. The clever thing about it is maintaining quality. There's only one spot I can stand. It's in a doorway where the door's going to open and shut. The door has to remain shut, and it's so damn hot. For New York. New York's very tight on space, and they've got to make the most of it. And they've got that equation between dining area and kitchen space is just this balance you've got to work out and come up with the best possible way to manage the whole thing. The smallest place with a crew of 6 upstairs, and there's a prep kitchen downstairs, which is I can't even stand up in. To put out the food they're putting out at the level they're putting out, it's funny how the top 50 works. toughest part about setting up a restaurant. making a decision about the capabilities of the kitchen, the food that it can produce. You might notice in the kitchen all their fridge work, you know, spaces at a premium. And everything's so tight in that kitchen. I can't wait to paint this. It's going to be a damn good painting. Just because the smallest kitchens just fit onto the canvas so well. Leaving New York, heading to London. What to expect? What am I looking for? What I'm about to see? My mind goes to fish and chips with vinegar, black pudding, Yorkshire pudding, eggs and bap. I don't know what to expect. Well, we're definitely in London, and as luck would have it, Thomas Keller is doing a pop-up restaurant in Harrods on the 4th floor.
We had not only the Harrods culinary team, we had the Harrods management team, we had some of Harrods dining room staff as well, but then we had a whole other dining room staff that had come together specifically for that event. So they were all from different restaurants around the UK and London. And of course you had our team, and our team was made up of several different teams as well, whether from Per Se or Bouchon or French Laundry.
The French Laundry is here for 10 days. It's quite impressive. Thomas has taken the French Laundry completely and popped it here, including the inspirational text that he puts up everywhere and changes every day.
We had enough of a team there to come in and clean, organize in a way that made it our own.
He flew 30 or 40 staff over from the States, working with the Harrods team to recreate the entire restaurant. And when I say recreate the restaurant, I mean like the whole facade of the restaurant, the door, the garden, inside Harrods. How am I going to get out of that one? No, this is not going on. Leave me alone. Hang on. I'm going to think about this. Don't understand this. Purveyors of fine mashed potato, natural classic mash with milk and butter, cheesy mash with cheddar, mature cheddar. How much is a flight to France for the train? You want to go for lunch? I'm finding it very hard to understand the everyday man's English cuisine. It seems to be pork, bacon, white bread and egg. This is called a butty, referred to because of the roll. I'm going to try this. I've got black pudding in here at least. Blood. God, what am I doing? This can't be good for you. Can't find any middle range food like as in Melbourne, you know, cafes and the like. So I think I'm going to go and see all the London touristy sites. Just been to Buckingham Palace. Going to see Big Ben. It's not that big. I've got 2 restaurants to do in London. One is the Ledbury and the other is Hibiscus. So I'm arriving at the Ledbury. Brett Graham, Australian chef, Notting Hill, darling of the food industry in London. Can't wait to meet him. I'm looking at the calendar in the chef's office and my name's on here. There's Matt Preston, Fergus was in, it'll probably be Fergus Henderson. And I like the fact that it says Dad.
I was fortunate and unfortunate enough to be a young guy working at a bank in Sydney and had no money. which most young cooks don't. And I won a little competition, and the prize was a flight to Britain. So I jumped on board and borrowed some money off my dad so I could get in the front gate of called Heathrow Airport, and arrived with no plan, nothing. And that was 11, 12 years ago.
Very, very warm welcome from the team. They're all very relaxed. Pastry here.
Pastry there.
Where's plating up?
Just on the glass in the front there.
Yeah, on the front.
Cold starters on that bench there. The cold stuff gets dressed in there.
Hot wash.
Hot starters gets done in the corner. And straight in front where the girls are standing now, that's fish. In the middle of behind Isaac, that's veg section. And in the corner is sauce. That's your lot, bud.
First menu, I thought on Sundays we'll do things like duck eggs on toast and quite classical food on Sunday lunches. I thought it'd be quite nice to have a restaurant where you go very classical and read the newspaper and do that sort of thing. And once the restaurant was finished and I started cooking the first menu, it clearly wasn't going to be a restaurant like that.
This is good. How many staff are you total in the kitchen?
13 or 14.
13 or 14 in the kitchen. What's funny is this is actually one of the most problematic kitchens to stand in, despite size. And they're so welcoming. They're like, yeah, we'll work it out. There's one problem with the drawing. Lots of fun bits, but there's that big white column right in the middle which divides the kitchen. On one side I've got the dishwashing area, then it goes around through pastry, and then it's moving back into the pass, and then a staircase going up to the restaurant which I want to get in. And it's almost like the section which is the pass is not the important part of the painting.
The number one thing about our team is the conditions we work in. I mean, you've seen, I don't know, many restaurants that you've been to that are basement kitchens with the space constraints that we have. It's quite tight for the amount of covers we do. Obviously, we've got the tasting menu, a la carte, lunch menu at lunchtime, so we've got a big range of things that people can eat. And out of all working so close together and actually building a team of young guys who haven't all worked in the best restaurants in the world, actually, I think it's only about 3 or 4 members of my kitchen brigade that have worked in a Michelin-star restaurant before the Ledbury. And what I like about it is that these guys, they're just getting in there having a go. No one's down there trying to be a hero. If there's plates to run, I'm running the plates. If there's trays to go into the room, I'm in the room. You know, if there's a wall to be scrubbed, I'm there with them. And that's the way we've done the Ledbury the whole way. I'm not an executive chef. I'm in charge of my kitchen at Ledbury. This is where I stay. This is where I come every day to work, and I'm part of the team.
I'm working harder than you guys.
Go and stand in the corner, bud. Go stand in
Who's standing over
this corner over there.
that corner over there?
We've been there for a couple of years, bud.
It's the worst part about doing an English restaurant. You see, if you do this in Italy, they take the piss out of you, but you don't understand. Yeah, it's pretty warm over in that corner. I've changed the whole plan for how I was going to draw the kitchen. Back here, I had a great drawing, which I'm really happy with, which would be a great painting, but I've come across the other side, standing in front of the fridge, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. Open shut door, that's fine. But the actual drawing is much, much better. One of the nice things was I suddenly noticed there's a window at the end of the pass where the staircase going up to the restaurant. And I waited until a waiter came down to pick something up. Waited until someone came down to get a tray and photographed them going up the staircase. So I've done a little drawing of it beforehand, but it explains that the food's going up to the restaurant. Kind of links the restaurant.
We try to think about what customers want to eat. You know, do customers want choice? Do they just want to have tasting menu all the time? We offer quite a bit of choice. So I think probably the whole thing with the Ledbury for me was I want someone to come here on Monday night for dinner with their missus, and I want them to be able to come back on Friday for business, for lunch, and not be sick of it, or not feel like they had to sit here for 5 hours. I want people who live in this street to come here, and they do. And we've got lots of long-standing regulars like that. I don't really think massive amounts changed as far as the customers go. I think we've just been on a slow journey to try and improve things we do. So there's constantly conversations like, how can we do that better?
There was something unique about the Ledbury, and maybe, it might just be me, because I, relate to the larrikin nature of the Australian boys in the kitchen. There was solid mass. I might change this all together, but we'll see how it looks. I think people make the assumption that we know before we start something what we're doing. So wrong. Like, I know what I'm going to do along here, but I don't actually know how it's going to work and how it's going to unfold until I make these next strokes. And then you find out that something exists, and it's the same with any creative process. Something now exists that never existed before. That's pretty cool. Here we are at Borough Market, early Saturday morning, and the market's kind of just setting up. Obviously, where real people come to get real food. All the restaurant suppliers are here. There's fabulous fish suppliers that are making paella to serve for lunch. I've just had a sausage roll that was just oozing oil from apparently one of the best butchers. That was a tip-off from a friend. The fresh produce is great. It's so exciting to see real food. There's great cheeses you can't get back at home. I'd rather pay good money for something fresh and healthy here than a white roll with egg and bacon. English food. What is English food? There's a stand over here selling sangria, and I'm tempted to try one, but I can't really justify it. Oh, hell, I'll try one. Okay, I want a sangria. I can't believe it. What time in the morning is it?
It's 6:30 a.m.
6:30 a.m.
Yeah, 6:30
It's
a.m.
not 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, and you're our first customer. We don't normally sell it until lunchtime.
I'm the first alcoholic in. Oh, people wait till 12, do they? There's no alcohol in that. So we've heard about the ship in. The British really are quite proud of their pubs. British people love their beer. They love a pint. And they are quite proud of their produce and proud of their country. Pub food, it's where things are starting to happen, and it's really exciting.
With the arrival of the early gastropubs in the sort of late 80s, early 90s, and the push for good ingredients and understanding of provenance and quality, probably in the mid-90s and up until sort of 10 years ago, then everybody else realised, oh my God, there's people doing great stuff, and it's way better than what we're doing. So, you know, I found myself in a position where I've got to catch up and I've got to learn how to do this stuff. I mean, we've sold beef burgers here for 30 years, but in the last year we've really established and researched what makes a really good one. And while it seems simple for me to say to you that it's good quality ground beef, you know, decent lettuce, a properly sourced fresh bun, and put together well and cooked well, to actually do that in a volume business like that, it has been a huge sort of challenge for us. And we've moved our burger on, we believe, you know, 100 times over the last sort of year. So it's so much better, and we're getting press from that by bloggers and people on Twitter and Facebook mentioning how good it is, and we see a natural growth. And I think that's a good example of how going out and seeing what other places are doing can influence what can happen here.
Here in London, it's my last restaurant on this trip, and it's Hibiscus. I kind of can't wait to get in there and get the last one out of the way, but at the same time, I'm not going to treat it any differently. It's a Monday afternoon. They're absolutely flat out. They're full. It's going to be busy. They said it's very busy. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you just saw the chef's faces. They just saw the run sheet for the night. This is not a very big restaurant, and tonight is beyond busy. What we're going to do now is just have a look at prep. Prep's a really interesting time because you forget anything now, you're gone. You can feel it. You can feel what's about to happen. Stuffed meal's always fun to watch, but I think there's a sense of quick pasta tonight. I can't work out how I'm going to paint this. It's a very hard kitchen to get on canvas because of the nature of the layout. The kitchen is boxed in, there's shelves in the way. It's the toughest kitchen I think I've dealt with because it's like a cave. It's this long corridor. Once you're in, you're in. And the restaurant's absolutely packed tonight, which means there's going to be people running down the stairs behind me. The chef's going to be at the pass. I think the key is to try and do as much as I can before it even gets busy. Stay just long enough to determine where everybody's standing, get photographs of their faces, mark out where they're standing and get the hell out of here. The reason I've got access to these kitchens is because A, I'm not here to critique the food. I'm not here as a threat. I'm here to celebrate their working environment. And the worst thing I could ever do is affect service. It's 10 minutes to 6. At 6:30, the first customers are in. Everybody's coming late. All the people that are booked at 6:30 and 7:30 are turning up late, which means that everybody wants their food at once. You know when you make a booking at a restaurant and they say, we can't take you at 7, we can take you at 6:30, or we can't take you at 8, or you have to wait till 9. There's a damn good reason. It's because you can't feed everybody everything all at once. The problem is if somebody rings up and says, can you come at 6:30? And they say, yeah, and then they turn up at 7. It affects everyone, and it can affect the food for the entire restaurant. The kitchen's kind of closed off and in. Once you're in the kitchen, everything's shut and it's just very hard to, it's not an open kitchen, but it's just hard to get the angle, so I've actually drawn it front on. I think I'm getting better at transforming the information from a memory, a few lines. I kind of can see where it's going, where I used to get myself a lot more information and worry about missing out on information. Now I think it's easier for me to process. I'm sleeping a couple of hours a day, so I'm working whatever's left. I've only got myself to blame because I've accepted this deadline to put this works on the wall and I'm just exhausted.